What's going on, family? You already know what it is, who it is. It's Sketchu the Rapper, aka the Grand Ambassador Flesh Dynasty, here to lace your brain with some of this incredible and glorious game once again, man. As your host, acting in the capacity of the reluctant YouTuber. And before we begin and get started, if you like yourself today, hit that like button. If you like somebody else, hit that share button. If you love yourself, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified and get your certification, hit that notification button. That way you'll receive the video, your notification of the video when it drops. All right. Let me tell y'all a little thing that happened with me today. Which I believe is a revelation that I got today. And it's dealing with emotions and things that could trigger certain emotions, right? And where it could propel you into a state of being, right? And basically what I titled it, being creative, I titled it emotional state of, and then you have the dots on the bottom, and you can add whatever word that describes the emotional state of being that you're in. So I titled like E.S.O. And how we deal with it sometimes, because I'm learning as I'm learning. I'm showing you as I'm learning. First of all, one of the reasons why I forgot to mention why I'm a reluctant YouTuber is because I like to become the message myself in order to deliver the message. You know what I mean? So that means I would take the splinter out of my eye the whole oak tree out of my eye, right? Before I can remove the splinter that's in yours. You know what I'm saying? So E.S.O, that's my acronym for emotional state of, and then you add the word, whatever. Similar to GLO, which is God's love overall, or the glow is what we're trying to reach from within. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Prayers up for out there in Los Angeles and LA. There's a lot of protesting over the ICE situation, and that whole them calling in the National Guard and stuff like that, where it's telling that a lot of these things are end time, evidence that we're living in the end time, and these are some of the scenarios, uprisings and all of that, civil wars and all this type of stuff. But I'll get into that later. But there's also a lot of things going on personally, in people's personal life. So before I come on, this is like an event. I get showered up, I wash my face, make sure the lighting is right, you know what I'm saying? And this, because before I used to do videos faceless, y'all see a lot of my videos faceless, and I'm gonna do some videos like that, but right now I'm just gonna do it to where y'all can see me talking and have a face behind the voice. All right, so emotional state of, all right, me personally, how I began to remove some emotional states, negative emotional states, I have to run right out. But first, let's define them. Let me just say emotional state. I'm going to define that for you. What I looked it up, right? So, emotional state. And this is the AI overview. It says an emotional state, also known as affect or mood, right, refers to the internal subjective feeling and experience an individual has, including positive, negative, and neutral emotions. These states can be influenced by various factors like events, personal traits, and the environment. You know what I mean? Understanding and managing emotional states is crucial for overall well-being, as they can impact behavior, cognition, and physical health, right? And I'll just give you some examples of emotional states, which is the positive ones are joy, happiness, contentment, excitement, love, and pride. A negative, sadness, anger, fear, anxiety, stress, shame, and guilt. Neutral, calmness, relaxation, boredom, and neutrality. In conclusion, emotional states are a fundamental aspect of human experience, impacting how individuals think, feel, and behave. Understanding and managing these states is crucial for overall well-being and navigating life with greater ease and stability, right? That's part of the purpose of this channel, combining, the mind, body, and soul, in order to obtain the glow, which is Christ, and you becoming one with Christ and the Father, the Holy Spirit within, and where your mind, body, and soul become one on one accord with one another. So events, like, I ain't gonna lie, certain events can propel you and catapult you into an emotional state of anger, disappointment, fear, wrath, you know what I mean? And let me just gloss over one that I experienced, and pretty much how I learned or was taught of the Holy Spirit and God to get over it. I know a lot of men and women can relate to this, but disappointments and abandonment, or being ghosted, oh man, ain't nothing like that feeling, right? Where somebody you thought was something, or a friend or loved one, or someone you have an intimate relationship disappoint you, and then sometimes they may ghost you altogether, like totally abandon you and make you feel worthless. Like, it's like, what? Like, where does this weird world that you put me in? And it's usually coming from someone you trusted, and you be like, damn, wait, how could you do that and sleep at night? Total disregard for you. And some people, even though I don't like this term, people running in the ground, but it's true, like this narcissism or whatever, and they're just completely ghosting you. So that abandonment, like, it just, when I experienced that, I'm like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, and where people say they're gonna do something, then they don't pick up the phone and call you. When you calling them, they don't pick up the phone. Like, they just totally wrote you off. Like, you just that person to write off, whatever. And that could propel you into a state of anger, wrath, heavily disappointed, even sadness at times, or just complete bewilderment, or limbo. Like, anybody leave you in limbo, you be like, yo, what is this? So, how I learned to get over it is to go right to it and address the situation, and not only address the situation internally, but address it externally to that person, and forgive that person right off the bat. But before forgiveness, I had to unload my gripe and concern and make them know exactly what they did that affected me. Because, sometimes we be, oh man, that's all right. Then bump them. They don't want to talk, whatever. Cool. Don't say nothing to me. I won't say nothing to them. And you think you could just go on about your day and whatever, and then your mind, then they have created a resonance in your mind the size of a mansion because of the confusion and the bewilderment, or the anger and frustration and disappointment. So it's like, yo, man, I want to shake this, but I can't shake it because I can't even believe that this even occurred. It could be a divorce, loss of your job, loss of a loved one, anything. But in particular, this one I'm dealing with, my situation. So, yeah. So what I discovered is that I even see this in the Bible when the children of Israel would make, or disappoint God or break his commandments and break his heart, he'll tell them, y'all broke my heart, y'all and give them an outline of what they've done wrong. So they're informed of all the things they did that are transgressions to him. So me reading that, I emulated that after I got out of that emotional state of being, right? Now, so what I did was I told them exactly what they did. I told them exactly how it made me feel. I told them that ain't cool. I told them, you keep that over there. I don't want to know that particular side of you. This is not who I thought I was talking to on the phone, and got it all out and got the anger and frustration, confusion, and told them, look, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that. But on top of that, I said, I forgive you. I done got it all out, but I'm not going to carry you no more. You keep that over there unless you're going to come back correct, or we seek some sort of reconciliation or whatever. That'll be the conversation. But other than that, you keep that over there. I don't want to know that person, and I don't got time for that in my life. You know what I mean? Because no, I don't got enough stress in dealing with my own problems. So the first thing is you gotta get it out. Rebuke them, reprove them, tell them what's going on, get it out. Because if you can't get it out, or say they not even responding or whatever, I had to get it out in the medium that I could. Whether you read the text or the email or the DM or whatever you, that's up to you. But long as you get it out, you gotta get it out of you. You know what I mean? Because if it festers and harbors in you, that opens the door for all kind of madness. You know what I'm saying? And even it can affect your physical health. That's the first thing. Always in the end, tell them I forgive them, and then work on that forgiveness even going forward on a daily basis. Boom, because it's going to take time. Some things take time. The emotional state of. Now let me show you how also you can turn that around and turn that same energy, because what it is energy, and turn it and twist it into a more positive energy, right? Because sometimes, like even with me dealing with this thing in my neck I always tell y'all about, it gives me mood changes, vertigo, depression, all these kind of things, stress, all this stuff, chronic fatigue, all this stuff that I got to deal with. And I had to recognize that it's not really me. This is something that's happening, occurring chemically, hormonically, but it's not me. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I really am. So I had to really dig inside and find out that greater is he that is within me is greater than he that's in the world, or whatever that was going on even in my own body. I did another video about what I did with Andre Taylor, having your thoughts, a spiritual battle is won and lost at the threshold of the mind, not within inside the mind. So you could say access denied even to something that's occurring in your body. Some people went through cancer, beat that, but during the interim they had to defeat it. So sometimes, like I said, you got it out, and sometimes you'll plead to God like, man, what is this? What you doing to me? Why'd you allow this to happen and all of that? Boom, boom, boom. But the power of your mind and power to change that whole, direct that energy, turn it around, you know what I'm saying, is that I went into my mind and went into my memory and imagination, and I had a total recall of God's work in my life in times past that brought me joy and fulfillment, And then because you'll be thinking that, dang, has God ran bankrupt on delivering people today? Why are people getting killed? Why are all these things happening in the world? Why is there so many outrageous things going on in politics and government? Why am I going through this in my body and all that? When you start to have a total recall and begin to meditate on those things and really take a mental projection or a mental excursion, or go on a safari in your mind and remember what God has brought you from, brought you out of, and all of the good times that you had, all of the fun times that you had. It'll put you in an emotional state of joy, emotional state of happiness, emotional state of peace. You know what I'm saying? Calmness. And then you could totally alter where you are, though you're going through negative emotions. You could change it and turn it. And I'm gonna read this whole chapter to you real quick. And I got this, pretty much prior to me doing seconds before, a minute before I did this video. So I'm gonna read it to you. Hope this blesses y'all. Hold on, check this out. This is what I found on that. It's Psalm 77th chapter, and I'm still King James Version. I'm going down from 1 all the way to 20, but I'm gonna speed read through it because it's going to illustrate what I'm saying. The first verse: I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and He gave ear unto me. 2, in the day of my trouble I sought the Lord. My sword ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refuses to be comforted, because that's what some of these things can do to you. But check this out. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah. Thou holdest my eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. Meaning you going back, taking a mental, journey backwards. 6, and called to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. So you start, really searching, because the pain is so great, or whatever is going on, it causes you to search. Will the Lord cast off forever, and will He be favorable no more? Is His mercy clean gone forever? Doth His promise fail forevermore? Hath God forgotten to be gracious? Hath He in His anger shut up His tender mercies? Selah. And I said, this is my infirmity. And I'm talking to y'all that's dealing with infirmities, like something that's in your body, something, like cancer or whatever, or diabetes or whatever's going on. But this is my infirmity. But I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. Like the power of His right hand, what He did, and even what you read about, especially what He did in your personal life, but especially what He done about and what you read about, what you heard Him do. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember Thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all Thy work, and talk of Thy doings. What have He done, and how he manifests Himself in creation, and the beautiful things that are created. Everything ain't always turmoil. I will meditate. All right. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Right. Thou art the God that doest wonders. Thou hast declared Thy strength among the people. Thou hast Thy right arm redeemed Thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah. The waters saw Thee, O God, the waters saw Thee, they were afraid. The depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out water, the sky sent out sound. Thy arrows also went abroad. The voice of Thy thunder was heaven. The lightning lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy ways is in the sea. Thy path is in the great waters. Then Thy footsteps are not known. Thou leadest the people, the flock of Thy hand, of Moses and Aaron. So basically, what I read that is, you 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 begin to go into your imagination, go into in your meditation, and start thinking about the time of what God did to you, what you want Him to do, and envision it, and what you've heard Him do. Look at the beauty of His creation and what He and how He had healed infirmities in times past, and He will do, not just can do, will do for you via through your own faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Of course, faith without works is dead. So the work is getting it out, changing it, doing the recall, going to your mind, recalling the times where God's been good to you, and not only that, having the faith to believe that He can reverse it, and that He has already, whatever you pray for, He has fulfilled already. You know what I'm saying? So whatever that emotional state that you're in, it could be turned around now and change from negative to positive. And then you could also, and I'm talking about the utilization of your imagination to change your emotional state of being or whatever you in that time, at that moment. So your emotional state, you be like, man, that was kind of messed up, you know what I'm saying? You know, that brother did it. But guess what? I told him, got it out, or I told her, or she told, or you being a woman, you told him, you got it all out. Forgive them, that's important. You don't have to seek vindication or being vindictive or anything like that. But the blessing is for you, you know what I mean? So you don't be bound and tied down by emotional state of, you know, depression or fear or anger or stuff like that. You can escape that by going into your mind, imagining, reflecting on how God has been good to you, being great, showing gratitude in your attitude. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, because it's getting real out here. Y'all see what's going on in the world. You're gonna have to have some sort of emotional intelligence. You're gonna have to have a lot of control over your emotional state, and it leading you to the peace that surpasses all understanding. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's coming down to, even in your gut. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Aziz Gazapur. Like, y'all need to go get his book, The Art of Extraordinary Confidence, to where he tells you to go. If you're feeling fear, especially fear, and like I told you, whatever these emotional states, you have to go to them, not run from them. Go and confront them, face them, you know what I mean? And one thing he taught in his book, when you're dealing with the emotional state of fear, because sometimes it'll manifest, not sometimes, fear typically, or whatever, distress or whatever, it'll manifest as an energy somewhere within your body. Some in their heart, their chest, some down in the pit of their gut or their stomach. You know how people say, I got a gut feeling and stuff like that? This is what I was taught. And even, you know, whatever ailment you're going through or wherever it's happening, these are the things I had to learn. You could touch it and speak life to it via the word of God. You could speak life to it and make commandments, get in order. Or you could tell it soft things and win it over by calming it down and addressing it, parts of your body. But when it comes to the discomfort of fear, or it's a certain discomfort, I want you to grab wherever it's located. Mine's normally located in the core, within my belly or in my gut. And I would find it. If it moves around, you chase it. Look, man, this is $1 million, $1 billion worth of game. For real. This could change your life. Sports and all that stuff, that's for them. That's for the athletes and stuff. When we give our energy and time to that stuff. Entertainment, they reaping the rewards. They getting currency and money due to us being entertained by them. But this is particularly, definitely, directly for you, where you will benefit. And then you can get the emotional currency, the spiritual currency that'll benefit you. So back to what I'm saying, if you search for that discomfort, right? And then once you find it, you press on it and you make sure you locate it, and you begin confronting the fear and speaking directly to it by loving your fears. Falling in love with yourself, even your fears. Because a lot of times fear, its job is to keep you from hurt, harm, or danger. That's its true purpose. But sometimes you gotta give it some love and affection and attention, and allow and literally talk to your fears. Allow your fear as if it's it's like a child of yours, like a 3-year-old child afraid. You could look at your fear literally like that and speak to it like that. And this is what I do with mine. I tell my fears that I'm not going anywhere. You're allowed to be here. And whatever you are afraid of, tell me, get it all out. And as it tells me, oh, I'm afraid to die, or I'm afraid this is gonna, we ain't gonna have a life anymore. I'm afraid with it. And then relate to it and say, yeah, I can agree. That's tough. You got that's a very tough job that you have to, deal with all the time. And yeah, that's true. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to go through these troubles. I understand it, but I appreciate you and thank you because you have, and love you because you have a very huge task on your hand, allowing the rest of the members of this body, making the rest of the members of this body aware of these things. I thank you and I appreciate you and I love you for, being on the front line. But does it always have to be afraid? If we, then you begin to talk to it, confront it like that. Y'all go get that book by Aziz Gazipura, A-Z-I-Z Gazipura. I forget how to spell his name. But, so this is some uncommon, phenomenal information that'll help you. Hopefully this will be the medication to whatever situation you're going through. And that last part, man, will change your emotional state of being from negative to positive, no matter what you're dealing with. So I hope that'll rest on your mind one time. Let that game material decorate your brain. One more game. You just understand what I'm saying? So just like I tell y'all all the time in my closing, y'all have a blast past. Go into your past and have a blast. All the things that you did that was exciting and fulfilling in your past. Have a wow now. See what's going on in it now. Yeah, I understand there's troubles in the world. I understand you might be going through some ailments, but even what I just told you and showed you, and y'all practice it and do it, that should be a wow to you. The results. Because once you calm the fear all the way down to where it starts to feel peace about it, you have just faced and confronted your fear and loved it and showed it love and compassion. And then it subsided. That should be a wow to you because you ain't, I know that 90% of the people, 98% of the people, or 97% of the people never even heard this before. And I'm giving it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's a wow in the now. That's a wow to me. Getting up here, getting on this camera, even telling y'all this. This is a wow moment. You know what I'm saying? Who knows where this is, who I help, because I got that oak tree out of my eye and out of my belly. You know what I mean? In order to pull the splinter out of yours. You did? That's a wow now. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And a greater later, go into your mind. Where do you want to be? Picture yourself at where you want to be, where you desire to be, who you want to be, and who you want to be with. You know what I'm saying? And where you want to be, how you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's the greater later. That's in the future. You know what I'm saying? Put your mind to where do you want to go, where you want to travel, and all of that. On them exotic places. Start looking at images. This is why people make vision boards. You can make vision boards even about where your body can be, where you look, you more fit. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff. Where your weight is going to be, how your body is going to look. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That emotional state of, you know what I'm saying? That emotional state of your being can be changed from negative to positive. You know what I mean? The greater later. You know what I'm saying? The greater later. How you want to be, where you want to be, and when. You dig? And so, in order to do that, you got to live the life of your design, baby, so you can have a good time for a lifetime. You know what I mean? This is part of your design. And your design have to be on one accord of living the life of his design. So your life will be divine for the rest of your lifetime. You dig? So with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I hope that blesses y'all, man. I'm signing off as KJV the Rapper, aka the Grand Ambassador of the Flesh Dynasty. Always here to lace your brain with this glorious information called this game. Once again, man, as your host, acting in the capacity of the reluctant YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. Peace. I'll get with y'all in the next video. Peace.